Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to week number 3 of Fracture Roars. I'm glad you all could be here. Glad you all could be here on this wonderful Thursday afternoon, evening, or morning, depending on where in the world you're located. Today, we're going to take you on a journey with the help of my players. We had some eventful previous episodes, so I hope that this one will be just as entertaining for all of you as it was for me and all of my players last week. So without further ado, looks like all of my players are here on time. I love it. We're going to go ahead and jump over on Discord and see what everybody's been up to.
Streamed, but like not when I signed up for it.
Because I was like, but a lot of things fell into place when I figured out, oh, that's what he meant.
I read everything through and he said record, oh, he's probably gonna stream it, and when he said look back, it's like, oh, great. If I manage to not, I was talking on the street, god damn it! That was Jordan!
He's probably streaming this right now.
Is he
Heard
streaming
by
it?
everyone, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the stream is live.
One of my
so.
favorite things to
Oh,
do is
it's
just
streaming us? That's-
unmute myself while you all are talking about random things.
Jordan.
You get
Yeah,
the
we can't hear
truest.
him.
You
Maybe
get the
it's-
truest.
oh.
Hello. Okay, hold on. Hello.
Now we
Hello.
can hear you.
Discord was just broken, it appears.
Yeah,
Technical
we know.
difficulties.
Actually, it's hilarious because what I was saying was I like to unmute myself just to hear what everybody's talking about, because it's some of the things that I walk into are hilarious. But hello, everyone. Glad you all could be here.
Hello.
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 And on time. That's great.
Yay.
Three weeks in a row. We're
Even
doing good.
Kai's on time.
Yeah.
Even the children's went to sleep on time.
Well, not exactly, but my wife is home, so she's putting them to bed.
To be fair, Kai, you did it last week, so maybe
Yeah.
so you take turns. That's what family's all about, right? Well, I'm glad you all could be here. It's going to be hopefully a lot of fun. And before we jump into it here, I want to just get a quick recap on how everybody's been doing. It's been a week since we've talked to each other. Let's start with Endless. How have you been? What's been going on in your life?
Oh, let me mute the stream, there's,
It's a good idea.
people.
You don't want to hear me twice. Hearing me once
Okay,
is bad
so,
enough.
how was the week? Well, I got my license, driver's license, that is, from the, official people that can give you licenses.
Congratulations.
I can officially get behind the wheel.
That's frightening.
From provisional marks from my university, it turns out I actually passed all my modules, so that means I can continue my second year, and I'm just waiting for the universities to send me an email type thing so I can register for the second year. And I'm having problems with paying my installment for like tomorrow because I'm gonna be staying at accommodation, and I'm pretty much just like missed at the fact that I'm trying to pay something, but I don't know why they're not taking my credit card details. I'm trying to work it out with the people, but no one, even from the exact side of the accommodation and even the company responsible, it's just keeping me on hold. I had to listen from Land Down Under for 3 fucking times now. The whole song.
Wow.
And then Delilah.
Don't you
I
hate
think
it when
the other one.
people don't want your money?
Yeah, don't you know?
Fantastic. Well, you've had
Why
an
did I go
eventful week.
Canadian?
I don't know, but it was awesome. Moving right along with away from your eventful, albeit mostly good. It sounds like. Congratulations on the
Yeah,
license
right.
and making it to your second year of university. Kai, why don't you tell us about how your week has been?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. We're getting into the flow of school starting up for the kids, soccer practice and things like that.
Okay, I have a question. I have a legitimate question.
Yeah.
You all don't know me as well as you will soon, but soccer is my favorite
Yeah.
sport. Did you
You
call
mean
it that on
football.
purpose?
You mean football.
Yeah. Okay, so did you call it that on purpose, or for our benefit, or was that
Yeah,
what you
mostly for
actually
your
call it?
benefit.
Oh, okay.
So we call it football.
I am perfectly 100% okay with always calling it football. That's totally okay with me.
Oh, good. I can keep playing this game.
Yeah, no,
Honest
it's
soccer.
we've talked about this before. Remember, Mulan? One of your
Yeah.
contingencies for even being allowed in the game was based on who your favorite EPL team was.
Oh yeah, of course.
But anyway, yes, continue. The kid now going to school where you are, Kai. Is that like a how long is the break? Like how long has the break been?
For summer,
Yeah.
it's 2.5 months.
Oh, okay. It's very, very much like the U.S. at least.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Now, that's a good thing, right? Kids going off to school means less work for you.
Yeah, it's a good thing growing up, and it's always something new. It's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Cool.
I know a lot of parents look forward to when their kids go back to school and they can get rid of them for
we
8
also have
hours.
kids. We have 2 in school and 2 in kindergarten.
Okay.
So there will be a few years before we
Yeah.
send all of them away.
Okay.
Well, and actually, I want to intervene unless parents decide to homeschool their children and teach them what they know from.
That's true. That's
like,
true.
you know,
Homeschooling is
experience.
a thing that exists. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fantastic. Anything else besides that, Kai?
Yeah. Well, some bad news as well. We lost a family member.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry for your loss.
Sucks. But it's she was old and had been sick for a while. But still, it's not fun.
How about I let you beat in and around the head some thugs today to let go of some of that emotion?
Yeah.
I think we can work something out for sure.
Sure.
Mulan, tell us about your week, how it's been.
My week's been pretty standard. Fixed some Wi-Fi, played some games. Nothing really interesting to report, I'm afraid.
That sounds like the perfect life.
Yeah, it's not bad. Just a bit
Uh,
boring, I guess.
A bit boring, yeah. Now, Toasty.
Mm-hmm. Yes, hello.
From A to Z, I want to hear the entire Eclipse experience.
Oh my god. Okay, let's see. You want to hear like before the eclipse?
Yeah. So like tell us what
how
the
did
setup
you get
was. Like you
Alright.
had to
Where did
drive.
you buy
Like
your glasses?
I want the
So here's-
whole story.
Here's the conceit. So I didn't know I was gonna go to the eclipse until like 2 days before we decided to go.
Good. Yeah. Last minute, no problem.
Which is
Drive
which
2
is
states
pretty,
away.
which is pretty average for where I live. We usually don't plan anything. So we were like, hey, the eclipse is happening. And we're like, do you want to go? Yeah, I want to go. So we went. Anyway,
Good.
I drove across 2 states.
Yeah.
I want to mention I did drive. I started at 4 p.m. in California, so I drove through the night,
Yeah.
12 hours into Idaho.
Good.
Straight shot.
Okay, so first question on that: why didn't you just go north to where there's perhaps more civilization?
Well, my folks live in Idaho.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it was partially I wanted to see my folks.
Oh, see, there we go.
Visit my folks.
That was the question that I had when you mentioned that you were in Idaho. I was like, Idaho? Why didn't they just like go north and see
to
it?
Oregon? Yeah.
Yeah.
Portland is fucked. So
that's true.
The other thing is, my parents have a guest room which we all used for
cool.
free,
Yeah.
rather than having to get a hotel room for a night.
That makes perfect sense to me now.
Which is more economical.
Yeah.
Anyway, we stopped by like every sports store or pretty much every store we could find on the way
glasses,
there to try to get glasses. No one had glasses.
Of course not.
So we just we figured, all right, well, we can't really do much. My friend had a filter for her camera, for like taking pictures.
Yeah.
So we were in Boise, so the day of we drove 2 hours up to Cascade, Idaho,
Mhm.
which is where the totality was taking place. And we found an abandoned train yard, and basically like
This
hung
sounds
out
like a
there.
prelude to today's adventures.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we trespassed into the train yard.
I mean,
set up our
like
camera
you do,
equipment.
though. Like,
Yeah,
you can't just
like,
find an abandoned train yard and not go inside.
Well, yeah. I mean, but it was for the eclipse. It wasn't just to go inside the train yard. We
Double
just didn't
meanings.
we didn't really want to be around a bunch of people.
No, of course not.
And I'm kind of glad we weren't, because we waited on the eclipse for like 30 minutes or so. When it finally happened, or when it finally like went full eclipse, like everybody was screaming. I could hear them in the distance. It was ridiculous. So yeah, the eclipse itself was pretty awesome. So like, it got really cold like 30 minutes before the eclipse happened.
Yeah.
Like, before that, it was really hot. Like, the sun was like much hotter than it was usually. Like, much hotter than it's like 100 degrees basically that day. And then it just got down to like 20 basically.
Wow.
Like, seriously.
For those of you across the pond, that's in freedom units, not in
Yeah.
metric.
Freedom units. Oh god.
It's
an F, man. It's freedom units. Come on, get with the program.
It's in terrible units.
I don't disagree with you by that.
Non-scientific units.
I don't disagree. I much prefer we were metric.
Yeah, I would too.
The freedom unit joke still plays, so I gotta use it when I can.
Yeah. Then it got really dark. Like, there weren't much, like, people were saying there was going to be a bunch of stars and stuff like that.
Yeah, you
there were a
didn't
couple
see.
stars.
Oh, you saw some. Okay.
Yeah, but like, there weren't that many. The coolest thing was, like, because we were out in this abandoned train yard, we were basically out where a bunch of animals were, so we could hear those.
Yeah.
The whole time
was it you that said your was it your mom that mentioned that there was like coyotes howling or something?
No, that wasn't me.
Oh, I must have read somewhere where they said that like they were talking to their mom and their mom said like the coyotes started howling when it happened, and I was like, that would be creepy as shit.
Well, like, everything just went completely dead silent. Like, all the birds thought it was nighttime, stuff like that.
Weird.
It was honestly like super intense. Like, the whole world just kind of like, I can see why like ancient civilizations kind of like draped their whole civilization around this kind of thing.
You and I must have the same brain, because we had a long conversation at work about, like, I can see why ancient civilizations worshipped the sun, like, or the moon, because could you imagine not knowing anything about anything and then all of a sudden the world goes dark for 3 minutes? Like,
yeah, and then like 24 hours later, half of civilization goes blind.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Because they don't know any better, right? So, oh man.
America was close to having a blind president.
Yeah.
Peak.
Probably be an improvement.
That was funny though.
But yeah, it was pretty intense. I mean, it only lasted for like 3 minutes, so it wasn't like a huge deal. But I can see why like some people would be upset. In the past, like, you don't know how long it's gonna last, and then all of a sudden, like, it's like, oh hey, everything's bright again.
Living in Florida, I also think this about hurricanes, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can imagine like when the natives were here and a hurricane came through and it was this terrible torrential like life upending storm, and then all of a sudden for like 10 minutes it's perfectly clear and the sun's shining, right? And like you're inside of this wall, the eye of the storm. For those of you that haven't experienced it, it's pretty crazy to be in that position, to be actually in the legitimate eye of a storm, because you can see like the walls of clouds surrounding you and you're the only like sunshine is right above you. It's really crazy.
Yeah, I think that's comparable, but like, I don't think it's as comparable.
No, of course not.
Because hurricanes happen more regularly.
Absolutely.
Than the moon darkening.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens pretty regularly. It just doesn't happen in the place all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, after that it was pretty boring. Like, we drove back. The thing about Cascade is it's a one lane highway,
boy.
essentially.
And there was about a bajillion fucking people trying to get out, right?
Yeah, there were about a bajillion fucking people. And also, like, Cascade is like the 4th town to the north from Boise. So we had to pass through like 3 other towns, and none of those towns were equipped to handle the traffic
Yeah, of course.
at all. Like, they had people like waving people down. It was ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, so we got back to Boise like 4 hours later.
Jeez.
And I crashed for like a couple of hours, and then we drove back. And yeah, I was wiped out for like an entire day.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I would have probably called off work and slept for an entire day after that.
Oh well, yeah, I don't really have work to do usually, not anything that's like
Sure.
regular, but yeah, I wasn't really capable of interacting with anyone for a day.
I don't blame you. Well, besides all of that, did anything else exciting happen with your week?
No, I might have to go to Los Angeles in the next week. Apparently my grandmother, she did have breast cancer, but it was not malignant. And they got that out, but now there's like some thyroid problems and also like a like spot on her lungs that the doctors aren't really sure about. So
Damn, that sucks.
I might have to drive that way. I don't know if any of that is, anything threatening, like, but it's still, she's still kind of old and things can go wrong.
Y'all gotta start making me call my grandparents after this game.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much been my week. Other than that, like just the standard fare of, home life, I guess.
Fantastic. I can't wait for those days, to be honest. Right now, the potential plan is looking at Colorado, which is where like the whole rest of my family, on my mom's side exists. So if that happens, then I will be kind of waiting in the wings for something to happen.
Cool.
Fantastic. So last but certainly not least, Zinch, how are you? How's your week been?
Good. Been helping girlfriend pack. Waited to get a water heater installed. Those things are a lot more expensive than they should be. And stores are awful for listing them as, oh, hey, get a water heater. It's only $400. Oh, wait, you need to get a plumber to install it with this, and this.
Yeah.
So you're spending like 3 times as much. Dumb.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, the car part only costs $20, but then we're going to spend $500 on installing it.
Yeah, we've been redecorating the house from scratch, just tearing down the walls, getting new pipes, new electricity. It's been crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so did that. Almost unpacking. Move is supposed to happen on Sunday, so that's good. And then just the other day I popped back in the Thrawn's Revenge 2 mod for Sins of Solar Empire Rebellion. I guess last month they had a beta release for 1.1, and I never got around to trying it, and it's a lot of fun.
Now, can you explain for people who may not know what that is?
So Sins of Solar Empire Rebellion is like a more minimalist 4X, I guess you would call it, but Thrawn's Revenge 2 is a complete reskin for Star Wars stuff with New Republic, Imperial Remnant, Empire of the Hand, and Pentastar alignment as factions so far. And they're working on Sirook, Hapes as like playable, and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Consortium would be fucking cool.
Yeah, that's like their next big one they're aiming for.
That would be amazing.
And so the reskin is really cool. They added a lot of stuff. They added hero units now with 1.1, and it's probably one of my favorite Star Wars games now after playing it earlier this year.
Nice. Have you ever played Stellaris?
I got Stellaris because I know they have a mod, but when I tried it, the mod wasn't working properly, so I don't know.
Yeah, so the people behind Stellaris, they're actually really better with the Star Trek mod than the Star Wars mod, but I know the Star Wars mod has come pretty far nowadays for that game. That was a great game. Also, they have new DLC coming out as well soon.
That's what I've seen.
It'll be fun. So, well, it's fantastic. Anything else besides water heater, blah, and awesome new games?
Not really.
For me, my week has been pretty basic, to be honest. It's the first week where my schedule's changed, so I had to work 3 days, and then I got another weekend, which was kind of nice. But it'll be weird having to go into work tomorrow, because normally I don't go to work on Fridays. So we'll see how that goes for me. Other than that, it's just been doing a whole lot of things for the various games that I run. We've started like a new arc in the D&D game where we're doing like the climax of the second season, and in the Stars Outnumber game we actually had to skip last week because we had some players that were off and I had to stay late at work. But we will be starting up the second season of that probably on Sunday, most likely on Sunday, because I haven't heard anything else. So lots of busyness going on for me as far as all that is concerned and getting all those correct. But most importantly, and here's my segue, you'll learn very soon that I'm the king of segues. The work I've been doing for this game involves a couple of very obvious things that you can see for right now. I finally got off my ass and got a Destiny tracker. If you see all that down there in the bottom left-hand side of the screen. For now, I think it's actually best if we just use images of Triumph and Despair, because we all recognize what those look like, and that is a good representation of what you can do with Destiny points, right? Like, you can spend a Triumph without having to make a roll to have something, Deus Ex Machina have an item. That makes sense. Or you can, upgrade or downgrade a roll, upgrade your roll or downgrade an enemy's roll by spending a Triumph. And then the Despair is obviously on the other side. So when we roll for Destiny, which we'll do right here at the beginning, as soon as we're done with the introduction part, we'll just add that many in there, and so that I'll move that block with all of those to every screen that we're on, so that we can all have a good visual representation of how much Destiny we have and we use. And hopefully that will spur you all into using more of it. Because I think that the thing that happens a lot in this game is, and actually one of the reasons why I really, really like using Roll20 is I can give very good visual cues for people to do things, like spend Destiny points. Because we got to make sure that we're spending them, because if we don't spend them, then we can't have all these cool things happen, and it is a useless mechanic.
Okay.
So
I don't know. Cool things happen without even spending them in our game.
That's true. It's true. And cool things will continue to happen without them, but I just want to make sure that everybody is fully aware that they exist. So the next thing I want to do before we jump into anything in specific here is the same thing that we did last week, where I want to take just a few moments to run through all of the people and see what you've done with your characters if you spent that additional 15 experience points that you were given. So I'll start at the top again. Endless, have you spent any of that additional 15 experience on anything?
I spent 5 in gunnery, and since that is one of my careers, I spent only 5, and the other 2 I spent in another rank of skill jockey.
Oh, okay, cool. So you spent 10 experience on a second rank of skill jockey, that is now?
Yes, and 5 for first rank in gunnery, because it makes narratively sense, because I jumped into a turret and shot some
absolutely
just ill-intentional people down.
Yep. Yeah, no, they were minions. They didn't matter in the grand scheme of things.
I count stormtroopers as minions ever since Finn, because that shows that apparently those people,
well, see, so the cool thing about this game is it talks about in the GM parts of the game. It says if you have a minion group that like does something like amazing, or gets the upper hand, or maybe is defeated embarrassingly by the players, you should take all of those minions and upgrade them into rivals. And then if that happens again, you should upgrade them into Nemesis.
So like that one trooper that was knocked unconscious, then
yeah, like
yeah,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, see, officers were already rivals, but yeah, maybe
why
they
we
now
should just be murking people.
yeah.
But yeah, like if you guys remember, the Red Squad, right? They all, like, 2 of their people got knocked out, and they had to, like, save their own people. Well, maybe they now have a grudge against some people, and I can upgrade them into rivals and just make it harder and harder. But that's not for right now. Perhaps for later, when I pull the mask off and have the big reveal of this enemy that's been hunting you forever. But regardless of that.
Cool.
Kai, have you spent any of your experience points, and if so, what on?
Yeah, so on the Lambda shuttle, when we were heading back in hyperspace, Kin decided he wanted to train. So there was like a training montage from the time we were in hyperspace. Jax with a piece of pipe and Mouse with a broom, just pummeling Kin, and he's trying to parry and defend himself, and he's gradually learning how to do it that without having a weapon. So
I don't know if Mouse would do that. She has to fix you. Like if you could
just
poking
with the soft end of the broom.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely there can definitely be a training montage, like, you know.
Yeah,
between
so
it's okay. I'll hit you with the pipe. I'll hit you with the pipe.
Yeah, all right. So I'm able to use parry while unarmed.
Fantastic. And again, layman's terms, so we're all aware of what goes on. Parry, what does that do for you?
Well, I'm in rank 1 with parry, so I can suffer when I'm unarmed. I can suffer 2 strain to reduce incoming damage, melee or brawl damage by 3.
Nice. So you can basically move it from wounds over to strain.
Yeah.
Cool. At a pretty good rate too. Pretty good rate.
Yeah. So yeah, the unarmed parry. If I parry while unarmed, I can for only 3. So it's cool.
Fantastic. That sounds wonderful.
Useful.
And useful, yes. Next, Mulan, tell us about Jax. Did Jax spend any of his experience points?
Jax doesn't feel like he really achieved or learned anything last session, so
okay.
I didn't spend any. I'm gonna save
holding
him.
on to him for next time.
Yeah, I don't know what for. I just wasn't inspired to spend any. So,
and that's perfectly okay. The great thing about this game is the little increments in power are not vast enough that it's going to matter session to session. So if you want to wait for inspiration, that is absolutely 100% a thing you can. Toasty, why don't you tell us about Mouse? Did Mouse improve anything?
No, I feel like most of Mouse's use, most of the things Mouse used last session was stuff that she's already specialized in. So,
right, sure.
I don't think there was anything that was extreme enough for her to feel like she grew any. Okay. So yeah, I didn't really spend any points.
Totally. Again, no problem. And what about Zinch? Why don't you tell us about Zian? Did Zian learn anything?
Well, he's now a sage, career specialization. Figure that with the weird thing that happened, he wants to learn more about it. Okay. And he also is now able to influence people, because not being able to influence those stormtroopers or anything kind of caused a bit of a conflict that might have been avoided.
Yeah, so you've gained some ability to influence others, and that's via the actual force power influence, right?
Yes.
Cool. I think there will definitely be opportunity for that to pop up in future sessions. That sounds great. So why don't, before I explain the scenario that you all are in, why don't we go ahead and roll some Destiny? Let me go ahead and clear the pool here real quick.
Yay, Destiny time.
And we will see how strong the influence of the dark side is right off the bat.
Let's see some positive rolls.
All right. Ready to go ahead and roll it up. Oh, yeah, that's great. Yeah, good start. Mm-hmm.
Did I roll?
You did, yeah.
I did.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, this is
I think my dice only has one side. Like this happens every time.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, once again.
No.
lost a million. No!
Yeah,
There's a disbalance.
I'm into it.
I'm
So
not.
the influence of, and I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put an X over this one just so we all
Oh,
know that it's
no.
not usable.
All it means is that the pressure is all on the GM.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No,
Where-
don't
where's
worry.
room?
I have so many opportunities to spend it in this particular
no.
particular version. So if I did my math right, it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, 6. So the power of the probably due to the ending of last session, the influence of the dark side is strong in this session, and I think that shows right away with our very opening, like our entrance into the next scene. So we left off with you all had arrived on Corellia, everything was totally okay, no problems whatsoever, and you had kind of 2 missions to complete. One was to figure out the ship, get it registered under yours or multiple names so that you guys had a viable way of moving around and you wouldn't get searched and fined for basically driving an unregistered vehicle. But I think the second thing was to try and like figure out what the heck you guys were to do next and why you would stick around. And I think that you all have lived through something somewhat traumatic together, and I think that forms bonds between the group of you. But at the end of the day, people need to live, right? You need to have money, you need to live, you need to be able to support yourself and others. And so I think that also comes into a driving force for some of the characters. Another driving force for some of the characters, especially characters like Cian, are helping people work through their struggles.
Yes.
And I will. This is the part of the game where I tell you all that obligation was triggered for this session,
Oh,
and
fun.
I'm going to be using it in a significantly strong way for how this works. So, what I need all of you to do is reduce your strain threshold by 1. Everybody basically loses 1 threshold just for this session. However, Dash,
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
you reduce yours by 2
What?
because it is
Yours was triggered.
your obligation which was triggered. So the very first thing we see is
Sorry,
after you all
we
had a-
reduce the threshold, or we just add a
so
strain?
the best way to so it depends. I don't know the best way to do this. I would say reduce the threshold. We'll remember that we need to add it back at the end, only
Yeah.
because when you go to start clearing your strain, we don't want you to accidentally clear that 1 that you would
Oh,
permanently
so I
have.
see what you're saying. Cool,
Yeah.
cool.
So yeah, reduce the actual threshold by 1. Except for Dash, which reduces it by 2, because Dash, you'll also notice, everyone, I got get rid of all your wounds, all of your strain, because you guys have rested by now, and all of that would have cleared. Dash, you receive a communique from your mentor, and it's probably like a kind of a really crappy hollow image of him, and he looks kind of maybe a bit strung out. You can tell his beard is slightly overgrown, and throughout the communique he keeps like kind of looking over his shoulder as if he's expecting someone to come up from behind him, and he tells you that he's in a bit of trouble and he really needs your help. He's got some there. He was on the wrong end of some gambling debts that he's accrued,
Oh no.
and he doesn't have the 1,000 credits to pay off the loan sharks, and now they're coming after him.
Credits? Oh god, no. I don't have that type of credits.
Yeah, you don't have that type of credit for sure.
Salvage?
Confirm.
So yeah, and I think that that represents the strain falling upon you from your obligation. For everyone else, it is probably the fact that Dash may seem a bit more stressed out than normal, right? Especially like for those of you that are kind of attuned with the emotions of others, it kind of puts pressure on you as well. maybe for Kin and Mouse, maybe Mouse, you're like working on a part for Kin or whatever, and Dash, comes through like cursing up a storm, or in some way distracting you, and you just kind of feel that pressure of like angry people in the area. Please stay back, right? You get that that intention to like go into hiding. And Kin, you are probably unreasonably strained because of that, right? Because you have this protector status of Mouse. Jax, for you, it's probably like when one of your in the good old days of when you used to be part of the Arcana Syndicate, or when you used to be a more influential member of the Arcana Syndicate, when like one of your buddies would get super stressed out and just like kind of bring the whole group down. And then obviously for Zian, you're much more in tune with others' emotions, and you can tell there's a lot of conflict and turmoil kind of boiling up in Dash.
Right.
And so the first question of the game goes to Dash, knowing that you don't have the tools yourself to deal with this. Would you reach out to any of the crew members for assistance? And conversely, would any of the crew members reach out to Dash and be like, hey man, what's going on? Like, what's wrong? How can I help?
I think if I might make a suggestion, anybody who would do that would be Zian, right?
Yeah,
like,
probably.
That's kind of his like bread and butter.
Yeah, so maybe the first scene is we see Dash, you're probably like in the engine room or something, like tinkering with whatever on the E9. You guys haven't got it registered yet. And Zian, you find him and you approach him. What do you say?
It's like, is everything all right, Captain?
Oh yeah, everything's fine. Just heard something from he's basically trying to think of something. The rent company, they said that if any damage comes to the ship, I'm gonna have to pay more, and I'm stressed because apparently someone decided to ram the ship. And I curse at whoever decided to do that shit, but also trying to hide my actual intentions because I don't want to burden anyone with my own problems.
Yeah, I mean, for the sake of the narrative, you probably are not very like deceptive about that. Like Zian, you can probably tell that he's that's a fake answer because
well, if that is only the issue, and there's nothing else, feel free to discuss it with me. I'm here to help. If there's anything else that's going on, I'm here for you.
As he's not looking at him, he just says dismissively with a wave of hands that I'll call a what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
A therapy session. Yeah, I'll call a therapy session or something like you. Thanks. He says dismissively, not really taking anything, just like in his thoughts right now, just like, shit, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to mention out of character real quick, and this is a stupid joke, not related, but I can't help but imagine a therapist in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
It's definitely a hot.
For sure. 100%.
Hot therapy is definitely a thing in Star Wars.
A columnist for that would be interesting. Just basically like talking with every single member, like if something happens.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail.
No. It's totally fine.
That's fine. Character.
It was funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Zian, like a couple of options here. Right?
I know.
Available to you. You could call him out, maybe, or you could maybe try and do it like take a more.
I'm gonna do a thing.
Okay.
And we're gonna see if this works.
Okay. What are you gonna do?
That did not work.
Well, to be fair, it could work.
No, it can't.
Do you have to have
light? Dark cannot produce a positive emotion.
Gotcha.
So
So yeah,
like
so
over
what do you attempt to do here?
Well, I kind of extend out my hand, kind of in a gesture to him, and I'm sure his back is to me, so he doesn't see it. But I'm attempting to give him a little bit of peace and tranquility, and help him be a little more focused on,
Yeah.
his problems, but
So-
not like one of those, not like forcing him to be something else, just kind of
Sure.
allowing him to come to whatever he needs to.
Sure, yeah, and I think you hit that wall of emotion that Dash currently has
Yeah.
up, right? Like he has
Yeah.
like this stress, and there's probably a bit of anger in there, and there's probably a bit of what's another good emotion, I think? Maybe fear, right? Because he doesn't know how to deal
Mhm.
with something, and that just kind of hits you in a wave, and you realize maybe it's too strong for you to influence right now. You'd have to maybe go about it a different way. So I assume you take your departure of that.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
gotta be able to come to whatever it is, mostly naturally.
Yeah, right, exactly. He's got to figure it out himself and then maybe reach out for help at that point. But right now he's just too kind of involved with it to reach out. So I think that another important thing here to note is to kind of get some bookkeeping here, because it's going to matter. So you all got some salvage off of the ship. You didn't get the big boxes and crates because those were left either on the other ship or on the deck still. They weren't actually loaded up on the E9. So what I want everybody to do is, from all of the salvage that you all had collected throughout the ship during your travels, it's 1,000 total credits for offloading all of that. It's all kind of worthless junk to you guys. It's not going to mean anything. It's just simply basically metal or credits in the form of metal. So everybody can add an extra 200 credits to their character sheet if they would like. If it would be something they accept. Now, I mean, again, you all have to eat and all have to do something.
Jax takes the 200 credits.
Yeah, exactly.
I take with reluctance and still take.
Yeah. Like you're counting out the credit chips and you're like, that's not 1,000.
Zian takes only enough to get a message to his master,
Okay.
and to keep a little bit after that. I don't know how much it would be to send a message.
Yeah, I think indiscriminate amount for a message sending. I'm not going to charge for that because that seems too nitty gritty for what we really want to do. But the real question is, like, do you want to take?
He'll take about 50 and then
50.
give the rest to. I think he'll give it to Dash, because he was on the hook for the rental, and it looks like it got a little dinged up.
Okay, cool. So there you go, Dash. Zian. So maybe that's part of that same scene, right? Maybe you're like, hey, here's some credits. I don't need these.
Yeah.
Dash, how do you react to that when he like hands you 150 extra credits?
Well, he turns, looks at the credits, looks at him, he says, thanks. He takes them and just nods, like, not dismissing me, but at least you kind of, like, feel like he actually means the thanks. It's just like he's distant, but also tries to, like, make it so he doesn't seem like a complete jackass from saying, like, someone gives you food, you say, fuck you, in that sense.
Yeah, so... Yeah, so maybe that hints you, Zian, into the this is a different type of emotion. Like, this is kind of on the path of easing whatever Dash has going on with him right now.
Gotcha.
Right? I think that is probably representative of like his genuine like, oh, thanks, So maybe that gives you a clue into what you should do next. But I want to catch up with all the other players as well during this. So the other bookkeeping thing that I think is important to note is it's going to take 500 credits to register the ship as under the Commonwealth. Now,
you're fucking kidding me.
Now you don't have to register the ship. The problem is, if you enter a system unregistered, you are subject to fines from wherever that system is. If they have certain laws against flying unregistered ships, you're subject to boarding, search, and seizure of all of your goods because they can't, allow unregistered ships in the system. So if you guys went directly to the Outer Rim and lived in the Outer Rim forever, that would be totally fine. Nobody would care about that being unregistered out there. Certain planets would, obviously. They would give you more flack than others, but within the boundaries of the Commonwealth, you would have a problem moving around freely with an unregistered ship.
Out of character, how much would it be to get a slicer to create a fake registry?
Probably less. I would say probably in the 200, 250 credit range, depending on the negotiation and what level of slicer you're able to find and acquire to do that.
Also, out of character, is there a reason we would register it with the Commonwealth other than the fact we are
So
in the Commonwealth?
that's your
at the moment and
current
they're the largest?
available government to register with, right? Because you're inside the Commonwealth. You could certainly go and register it under somebody else, but then wherever you flew, you would be known as being registered to that specific province or governmental agency. Doesn't mean you work for them, but it's kind of like the fact that I have a government issued ID from the United States, and then if you were to go to, let's say, England, my government issued ID from the US wouldn't mean much over there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the bad and good between getting it registered here or getting it registered someone else or not getting it registered at all. So, that being said, the party is under somewhat of a credit crunch, I would say. If you wanted to find a slicer to get you a fake registry, that's totally a possible thing to do. It would probably end up being cheaper, but also it would be at risk for being discovered. Should any official governmental agency really dig deep into that, or for whatever reason they were able to get boarded and actually look at your computer system. Because again, this is Star Wars, so really the registry part is you have an IFF that beams out, but nobody can really confirm that until they're actually on board and within physical contact of the ship. But there's obviously opportunities, whenever you land anywhere, that's a thing that would happen, right? The docking official would come out and check your ship for its registry.
And just again, obviously you've got Commonwealth and you've got Remnant.
Mm-hmm.
The other areas that we know of, they seem more like unofficial.
Yes and no.
Smaller.
So a lot of these any of these factions that are here on the left hand side here,
Yep.
any of those factions could register your ship.
Okay.
Any
Cool.
of them have a governmental agency that is accredited enough that could register a ship.
Cool.
So again, that's totally up to you guys, but it is another thing to consider for the rest of the crew. In addition to, there's obviously some issues going on internally for one of our crew members. But I think that I do want to catch up with Kin and Mouse perhaps first, because Kin and Mouse, or Kin specifically, you did receive some interesting stuff that obviously wouldn't be included in that 1,000 credit salvage mission.
Yeah, so the 1,000 credit salvage is are anyone of the crew walking around the ship handing out these credits, or is it just
Yeah, that's a good point. The best person to sell the stuff would probably be Mouse, to be fair.
Yeah.
Being able to go out and sell the stuff. So I assume that Mouse has probably the one that has done that. Hey, here's everybody's cut for all your things.
all right? So when Mouse enters wherever Kin is sitting, he's sitting staring at the protocol droid head. And when she comes in with the credits, he just looks up at her and shoves the head towards her, and so
she fumbles with it.
Yeah.
It's just what?
so he picks up the credits, and we need to make a body now.
Right now?
Now,
All right.
and he indicates that's what the credits are for.
All right,
You
so
can't find
you're basically
physical
gonna
salvage.
put 200 credits worth of materials into trying to fix
Yeah.
this.
Unless there's something a couple of wheels.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, toaster or something.
Yeah, okay. So I guess I don't know if I can fix it right now or
Yeah,
what.
so again, you have the head of the central processing unit, right? Stored in the head of this old like protocol droid. So there's a couple of things here, Mouse, that you know right off the bat just from looking at it. You might be able to restore power to it, but based on the severity of the damage to the internal components, it probably is going to require some hunting for some parts before you're able to make it do anything besides light up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in addition to that, any data that's stored on the central processing unit is probably either going to be highly corrupt or need to be like rewritten. It's probably going to take a computer tech to really get in there. So it's not just physical hardware that you're dealing with here. It's going to be also some computerized chips and hardware that you need to repair and restore, whether that's you or whether you need to take it to a specialist or what have you.
All right. So I guess I will look over the head and I'll say, "All right, Ken. Well, I can get the power working probably right now, but it won't. I mean, they won't be, sentient yet or anything until we get other things fixed. Like we got to get, some memory units, things like that. I might need to take it to a computer specialist. So, I mean, I'll do my best, but we're gonna need to hit port eventually.
Can I go now?
I mean, we're on a ship. I mean, you can ask Dash.
Yeah, so to be fair though, you're at Corellia.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah. You've made it to Corellia.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Where are we docked? Considering we have an unregistered ship and a rental that needs to be returned. Like,
yeah, so you can currently have it docked at Corellia on planet as salvage. That's currently what your ship is right now. The E9 is registered as salvage. So when I say unregistered, that's kind of a poor term because currently it's nothing, right?
Cool.
But Corellia is also very used to dealing with unregistered and salvage ships, right? Because they're a major space yard. So they're used to dealing like ships coming right off the line don't have registries and typically are getting sold and have to get registries. In fact, Corellia is probably one of the best places to figure out what you want to do as far as a registration for a ship. Just because they deal with that all the time.
Shipyard, sweet shipyard.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Ken, we can go now. I mean, that's fine. I think we need to do something with the ship though. As far as like registering it, I guess.
That is correct.
No, I don't know anything about that.
That is correct. Unregistered ships are illegal.
Oh, they are? Okay. All right. Well, let's go see if we can fish out some parts, I guess.
So you guys are gonna go to like behind factories and stuff and see if we can find like a bunch of spare parts.
I mean, I assume that there's probably like junk shops and stuff like
absolutely,
that.
Absolutely.
But I'm thinking if we need to do something with the ship, maybe I'm kind of thinking that I'm not sure if we would think that Dash would be the right person to do this, or.
Well, this is also you all know that Dash is a pilot. He's a former pilot of the Commonwealth. In addition, this is his home world, so he probably is the best person to go talk to about what they need to do with the ship.
Yeah. So I guess on the way, I pop into wherever Dash is.
Yeah, where do they find you, Dash?
They found me outside the what was the name? Oh yeah, the Lambda, just inspecting the scratches and just shaking his head as this basically puts him more at a crisis wood credits, because unless he fixes or tries to fix it, he's gonna be forced to pay for damages.
Yeah, might have to take a loan out yourself.
Yeah, I think I need a help of a mechanic or two. One which being me.
Yeah,
Because
so
I
we see
believe
Dash
that's
with like you have like a data pad or something, right? And you're like making notes as you're walking around the Lambda cruiser.
I
And
didn't
that's
buy one, so I don't know.
I guess how good of a mechanic is Dash? Like, I know he's a pilot, like a good pilot, but like, how's his mechanic skills?
Rank 2, does that tell you enough?
Yeah. So fairly decent.
yeah, he's pretty
Decent.
good.
Not above average, but at least enough to fix a ship until he gets to a mechanic. But right now,
Could also give
technically I can go a mechanic, but then I have to pay him. Is like
Right,
it's
yeah,
crazy.
exactly. Yep.
I'm not the best person to be in this kind of situation. What I'm dealing with right now internally.
Yeah. So
Hey.
you walk up on him. He's doing inspection of the ship and, kind of huffing under his breath and shaking his head.
Dash. Hey, Dash. Dash?
What?
I just
what?
imagine I was following him around for a bit.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What is it, Mouse?
Hey, so about registering that ship, do you know what we have to do? Because I was gonna go out and visit some junk shops and stuff. But I figured maybe we could do the other stuff too.
Well, we have to go to official registry, which is in kind of like in the middle of where did we land? Because I think there's
So
like
you're probably at the capital. Is it Cora?
Coronet
Coronet, yeah, that's
City, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, we gotta go at the Standard Hotel. That's where the most official one is. I don't know about other registries. But first we need to worry about this because I don't know. I don't know if I can afford a mechanic to fix this completely. I think I have to do this DIY and just take whatever is left. Jesus, what the fuck did those two do?
Well, I mean, it doesn't look completely unfixable.
We need to fix it, at least. I mean, I can try and fix any dents or scratches, but I don't know if I can do it myself. I've only worked on my single pilot fighter. That's it.
Well, I'm not sure about dents and scratches, but anything mechanical, I can fix that easy.
I mean, can mechanics cover dents and scratches, or?
Yeah, it's physical mechanics. Sure.
Well,
you could
I mean,
you could go out and find some like some plating to replace the panels on the sides of the vehicle and stuff like that. Yeah.
Could do that. Well, it costs
I can
me
help.
anything.
I can help. I'm good at lifting.
Yeah, I mean it depends on where you get the plating and stuff from, right? The other thing about a rental, too, just so you're aware, Dash, is man, if you've never dealt with a rental company or rental cars before, those rental cars are beat to shit already. So it actually might be better to just make if there is any damage, which as far as I was aware, there wasn't a whole lot of damage.
Just a scratch.
There was basically just like the place where the grappling hook connected to it.
That was internal. It might have been where I rammed the other Lamba.
Yeah.
There's also that, right? Like that's the other one. There's the big
The main one.
the big scratch on the.
But we
on the
did
side.
more
It's a big
damage to the
piece.
other Lamba.
Yeah,
'Cause
there's a
I
big
did
piece to
good.
start with a remnant symbol on it. Just sticking out from the bottom of
Yeah,
the remnant symbol.
exactly. There's the big remnant symbol panel that just like collapsed on the ground when you guys landed.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the major like point of damage. I guess the real question here is, Dash, would you have been one that took like an insurance policy on the rental?
Yes.
Yeah, you would. I mean, it's totally reasonable to say that you would have, and if you did, it would probably cover stuff like this.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So
I'll just tell them that some
yeah, tell them an asteroid hit you or something.
decided to freaking like skid past me.
Right,
Well,
exactly. And if like you say, you're the one that would have taken an insurance policy, yeah, it's absolutely something you can do, no problem. And they probably wouldn't charge you anything for it, to be fair. Because having an insurance policy is the charge for it.
True.
So I wouldn't worry too much about the state of the rental ship. In fact, I had already basically written off the fact that you guys had already turned that in, and you were done dealing with that.
Well, I guess the problem is the E9, and we need to register it. The
Yeah.
thing is, Slicer wouldn't cross my mind because I'm not into the underworld type stuff, so
True.
I will pretty much say we need to register without my mind crossing on.
Yeah, totally.
On finding a underworld Slicer. So technically, that's my only concern is that I currently have less, and I need some like financial assistance.
So I guess under that conceit, I'm like, are you even sure we need to fix it? Like, it was kind of junk.
Actually,
beforehand?
no. I think. Oh wait, what do you mean, the Lambda or
The rental.
Oh, it's no, I'm talking about the E9, the close call. This has insurance.
Oh, so we're
Sorry, I
fixing
just
the
forgot.
E9?
Well, no, we need to register because
Well,
Oh.
let's
yeah,
just say I'm technically one of those dash and growth smugglers in this thing, and I don't want to be considered that, even in the Commonwealth. Just don't tell me how many
Wait,
patrols what I have been part of busted anyone without a registry. It's not pretty.
you're a smuggler?
What? No, I'm saying I don't want to be a smuggler.
yeah. He's saying he doesn't
He-
want to
he's
be.
just
Yeah.
just like he raised an eyebrow, just saying like, was I not clear?
Yeah, no, not really. Yeah, I guess, so we're gonna go visit some junk shops. Do you want to come with us?
I mean, I know pretty good ones around town, not here specifically, but I can point you out to ones that are good and ones that are just like scamming you. Technically, that thing is that underworld knowledge for scamming, so I won't actually know. I'm just talking like, yeah, I know how to deal with.
No, I honestly think it's a core worlds, just because Corellia is part of the core worlds. I don't think it's underworld. Like it's more of a business thing, right? It's not necessarily a criminal thing.
Yeah, unless you're at like a black market. I don't
Yeah,
think
like
Underworld
if you
is
guys go to
that.
Nar Shaddaa, then yeah, that's going to be underworld to know who's scamming you. But in Corellia, it's just going to be like, this guy's gonna. It's a difference between like knowing that a chain like grocery store in your area is good versus a different chain grocery store. So it's not a huge
I
deal.
guess we could go shopping, but I still need to register this thing, and I only got enough to at least pay half.
Um,
Can I join the
Yeah, so
conversation
maybe
at this point?
that's a perfect point for Jax you to like come walking up.
So
I'd
I'll
say I'm
come
not
walking
gonna-
out of the E9 with my bag over my shoulder. And I kind of overheard bits of the conversation. Say, "Hey, I heard you guys are going to town. I got some things I want to do in town myself." And I look at Dash. I say, and as we're registering the ship, as long as we're all sticking together, I think it makes sense for us all to contribute to that.
I mean, we could split 100 cap credits each. I mean, I think I remember the sound world is 500. So if everyone chips in, then again, I don't know about the draw.
One of my contacts that I want to meet with later might be able to get it done for us cheaper if you're interested.
So just out of character. So this ship, if we were to sell it registered, it would be worth upwards of 100,000 credits, right?
It'd be worth a lot to just sell it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm guessing we're all aware that
the Lambda. Might as well keep the Lambda and sell this ship. Why did I bring it anyway?
Because you don't own the Lambda.
Yeah.
Exactly. I want to own this. I want my piece of like.
Yes. So I'm guessing this is common knowledge for our characters that if we register the ship on us, it's our property. So we'll split it, right?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
We from what you saw, I think everyone looked around. There were like normally from the thing. I'm just gonna say the canon blueprints is from that awesome caricature, minus the labs and stuff. And I say like there is 4 like individual rooms.
Yeah, that was
cantina and kitchen place.
Yeah, that was part of the deal when I had you guys like pick out your ship and then made you fly away with it.
So I'm guessing that we all would know that it would be in our best interest to register the ship.
Absolutely, yeah.
All of us.
It gives you a lot of like credibility too to own a ship, even if you're only a part owner or whatever.
Yeah, so Kin will willingly give over his money, or Mouse has the money. But yeah.
Well, technically, she has 400 from the both of you. So if he's willing to give 100, then I'd be grateful for them chipping in. Actually, I mean, plus they technically hired me, so that's enough of a payout to actually help me register the ship and like live with me. I guess.
So I don't know if you're having this conversation, but Kin will muscle in and say, "Take 100 credits from me as well. It's my sheet as well."
Right. I guess we have a home now. As he looks at the close call, kind of like proud that he has his own ship back when he actually had like. Maybe he had a previous ship that he loved, and he was like sad that he had to let go something that was his. Yeah. But now that he has something, he's kind of like, I had my own ship.
Jax reaches into his credit pouch and says, "I'm happy to, chip in 100 if that's how we all want to do it. But I want to reiterate, I might be able to get it done cheaper." And I wink.
You said you could do it cheaper. I mean, I kind of need these credits to build Kin's friend.
It can wait.
I guess. All right. Well, here's a credit chip.
Yeah, and so technically you've already gotten 150 from Zian too. So Zian's already kind of thrown his money in there as well. So with that being said, you can absolutely like pay off that registry now.
Does this mean that we're all gonna continue to travel together though?
I guess it does, technically, because you're still co-owners. But we do need to figure out roles, though. I mean, I'm quite.
I look at Mouse and I say, "I'm happy to keep traveling with you guys, but you guys need to know that there are things I need to deal with."
Well, I guess I'm your personal pilot then. He says with a chuckle.
I guess it's worth being a little open too. I suppose you all know that the reason I went to that other ship was because I was a scavenger on that ship, and the remnant captured. Well, they killed my crew, or my friends, my family. And I can't find the person that was my mentor. So I guess that's kind of the reason I'm traveling.
After someone she mentioned mentor, that kind of like does not bring any good memories, as he's kind of like surrounded from like my mentor, right? Shit.
Yeah, so Dash gets lost in
like when someone mentions mentor, you see Dash not phase out, but like blank out or something.
Yeah. So I think the scene is like the three of you talking. You're gonna go into town. It's best to travel together anyway. And like you go to leave, and like Dash is just kind of frozen solid, like standing there. And you all turn around. And you're like, Dash, come on, we gotta go. And eventually you snap him out of it, I assume. But I think all of you at that point get a hint into the fact that Dash has something going on there that maybe he hasn't let on yet.
Yeah.
Before we head off, I just turn around and be like, "Should one of us grab the priest?"
I thought he was a healer.
I don't know what he is.
Well, he said he was a healer, so I don't know.
Do you think he's a Jedi?
I hope not.
Even though you don't know what that term means.
I thought that there would still be stories, right? Like
stories of people who have magic powers. Yeah.
Do we have to roll for? Do I have to make a Jedi roll?
I think it's best just to see the four of you like kind of like and like look towards the ship
like
for a moment.
Like No, Mouse, like, don't get me wrong, Mouse does not know what a Jedi is. Like,
Yeah.
she's only heard, like, fairy tales, essentially.
Right. Yeah,
of
exactly.
all these things that
And-
have
You
happened.
talking about one of them damn space magicians?
Yeah, basically. It's one of
One
those
of
Jedi.
those space monks with those light swords.
Yeah.
He is irrational.
I mean, he doesn't, like, he doesn't really seem to have anything else to do. Like, he doesn't really fit into any other category.
I mean, he
Ah,
said
so-
he wanted to help us, so I guess an extra hand.
I
would be
shout out,
useful.
I shout out, Zian, we're going into town if you want to come.
So like
Sure.
echoing through the
Like-
ship, you hear your name called out.
Huh. Kind of head out to the boarding ramp, like, yes?
I imagine everyone's kind of scrutinizing you.
Yeah. We're just giving you like the narrow eye for a
Jack
moment.
Especially is like, are you one of them Force users? I don't like them Force users. But yeah, we're heading into town if you want to come with us.
Like Force users, I mean, well, Dash has Corellian or something, or at least a common. What would Dash know? What would a guy like Dash know at least? Because I don't know.
I doubt you've had much contact at all with any
Jedi
Force
knowledge?
users. Yeah. So the deal with those of you from like the core worlds that would know about Force users is you know that there's some religion that exists that says that they can perform miracles, right? And that's representative of the Assembly, which is kind of the ally to the Commonwealth, which is located up here in the
Is being
top
a
right.
Jedi a religion or a way of life? Because I mean, they even mentioned it in A New Hope that it says like it's a religion.
So again, like I explained at the beginning of this, it's all kind of a little bit different than what we know happens. The code of the Jedi doesn't really exist anymore. There are a couple of sects in particular that follow their own code, but concepts of what the Jedi believe in and what the Sith believe in don't really exist anymore, at least on a grand scale. The largest like group of Force users is based here in the Assembly, and they have like Force monks, and they've basically turned the Force into a religion, which is kind of, if you know anything about the lore of the Force, is kind of like the original way that the Force was viewed. And so that's kind of the common knowledge of Force users is that it is some strange religious thing. For like the common folk, that's what you would understand about the Force.
Before Xeon makes a new no Jedi Order after Luke Skywalker tries to what?
Sorry.
What?
That was background.
I heard someone in the distance.
Oh, okay.
As I was saying, and before Xeon makes the new Jedi Order, just like Luke Skywalker did 1,000 years ago, 5,000 to be exact.
Right.
Or 100. My bad. Sorry.